We are going to continue teach on the 21 supreme aspects of the path. Now the third essential aspect of the path says the best quality is to have great altruistic intention. The best quality is to have great altruistic intention. So in Mahayana Buddhism, altruistic intention is caring about others, their well-being, their happiness, and their freedom from suffering, more than just our own benefit, right? Suffering in ourselves and others arise from the most of the time selfish desires. Altruistic intention is selfless motivation, bodhisattva. You wish good for others without expecting nothing. Great altruistic intention is the foundation of bodhisattva, and it creates positive karma and benefit. So when you act from altruistic intention, whatever you do, you create benefit for others and for yourself. Promote harmony, trust, spiritual growth, right? So altruistic intention, you don't just care about, a few people who are very close to you, but for all beings. In Buddhism, say near and far, right? Friends and strangers. It really doesn't matter. Any beings who you don't like or you like, it doesn't matter. The basic sort of nature, we all want happiness. So that's the beings, all beings sort of nature, no matter who they are, either they're bad people or good people, it really doesn't matter. So that's why altruistic intention is for all beings. Altruistic intention transforms how you live. Your actions, speech, thoughts become guided by care and responsibility, grounded in wisdom and compassion. Then, life becomes more meaningful because it's dedicated to the welfare of all sentient beings. What it does in daily life, you help others without expecting nothing. You treat others with respect, even if you don't sort of personally benefit. You hold genuine concern for those sufferings, friends, strangers, animals. So in spiritual practice, your motivation for meditation or given or discipline becomes altruistic, which increase the positive result of your practice. So this intention is essential in Mahayana practice. So, you all understand how important it is in your daily life. So, there is no need for me to explain it further. Essentially, all the teachings I have given you really focus on developing this altruistic intention. So, there is no need for me to explain this more. You all know how important it is, altruistic intention. But it comes down, like how much you practice on it. Now it is, because you all know, it is up to you whether you develop it further or not. That's it. The fourth, it says, the best instruction is always to observe one's mind. Again, why observing the mind is the best instruction? As I mentioned before, because in Buddhism, the mind is the source of all experience, right? Everything we experience, joy, anger, fear, attachment, all arise from the mind. So by observing the mind, we begin to see clearly how suffering or happiness arise. This awareness allows us to recognize negative emotions before they cause harm. So when you watch your mind, you see how thoughts come and go, which leads to insight, wisdom, and eventually liberation. So it is the practice of watching and understanding your own mind at all times. Again, reading lots of books and listening to teachings or, performing ritual is very helpful, but their impact is limited without awareness of your own mind. So therefore, direct experience of your own mind is the foundation of true understanding. So observing the mind is daily life. In daily life, can feel challenging, especially in the modern sort of busy Western lifestyle where distractions are constant, right? So it's challenging. Observing the mind is hard, very difficult. The most important is to know how to observe the mind. But we need to, we need some, good methods, because forcing or trying to control the mind doesn't work. So first, understand what it means to observe the mind, right? Observing the mind is not about controlling thoughts. It's simply noticing what is happening in our mind, thoughts, emotions, habits, all of it. The goal is to see them clearly without being carried away. So think of your mind like like a movie screen. You watch the images come and go without grabbing onto them. So your life is fast. So many distractions, and we forget mindfulness all the time. Just we can't observe our own minds all the time. So therefore, I think it's helpful to use sort of gentle reminders. This could be a sound, a mantra, an object, whatever works for you. Because each small observation strengthens mindfulness. So apply mindfulness in daily life, not only, during meditation, but also during your activities, interactions with others. So in Buddhism, observing the mind is a way of training the mind, not sort of fixing it instantly. Start with, short meditation to support your attention. Then extend mindfulness into daily life through, gentle reminders. Observe thoughts, emotions, and reactions without judgment. So watch your mind with awareness and allowing thoughts and emotions to arise and dissolve naturally without judgment. Choose a single point of attention to return to when the mind wanders. So in this way, continue to observe your mind whenever you can. We are not mindful at all. For example, about 8,500 people died yesterday in the United States. Do you get that? I mean, that's every day. And we are still here. and we can't find something to be grateful for. We still complaining about our little things, struggles. We are alive. We have everything. We have food, we have water, we have clothing, we have everything we need, basically. And we have so much to be grateful for. So, but we're not mindful for it all. We need to stop focusing on the things that we don't have, the things that we want, So we need to start focusing on what we do have. If we focus only on what we don't have, we always feel dissatisfaction, even if we get some of what we want. Happiness comes from, appreciating what we already have. The older I get, the more I realize how important it is to be grateful for everything that I already have, right? But without, mindfulness, observing the mind, we forget all these things, and we always focus on something that we don't have, and it's something we get it and we want something else. So I think we have to really focus on, how to observe and be mindful, be grateful for everything, and because life is really short and sort of unpredictable. Doesn't matter you're old, young, doesn't matter. That's really, we know that. So why not? We should focus on something that we already have, and then we appreciate that, and just be kind. And these are not that difficult. So that's why it says here, that's the best. So observing the mind. So we should not forget all of these things, and we should, be, very grateful for all these things, and appreciate life, and just, live a day, and then see what will happen tomorrow. Not too much worry about tomorrow, so to speak. Then the fifth essential aspect of the path says, the best antidote is the knowledge that nothing truly exists. Why this is considered the best antidote, right? Antidote. We are unhappy. Not all the time, but we suffer because we cling to things as if they are permanent, right? They are solid, they are permanent, because we believe they exist independently. So this mistaken belief is considered the root of all suffering in Buddhism. So So realizing emptiness, understanding that nothing truly exists on its own, and that everything is constantly changing, reduce our grasping. So when Buddhism say that nothing truly exists, it does not mean the world is unreal, right? Or that nothing, it doesn't mean that nothing matters. When Buddhism say that nothing truly exists, it means that things don't exist independently. Everything depends on causes and conditions and relationships and so on and so forth. That is how the whole world exists. For example, a chair exists only because all this, wood, nails, and other things come together, right? Without those causes and conditions, there is no such thing as a chair. So similarly, we exist because of, our family, society, and, countless other things, other conditions. For example, a tree exists because of, soil, water, sunlight, all the seed, and so on. So if you remove any of these conditions, the tree cannot exist. In the same way, our mind, our body, our relationship, and experience all arises due to countless interdependent causes. So when we recognize that everything is interdependent, therefore everything is impermanent, we stop clinging to things. The mind becomes more flexible and free from extreme reactions. So this is the foundation for enlightenment in Buddhism. And the way to overcome suffering and confusion is to understand the true nature of reality, that everything is empty of independent and permanent existence. Suffering arises because we misunderstand interdependence. Interdependent origination, interdependent arising, interdependent origination is a unique and special teaching in Buddhism. If I'm not wrong, this teaching does not appear or cannot found in other spiritual, if I'm not wrong. Understanding interdependent origination, interdependence allows us to see the emptiness. Emptiness does not mean nothingness, right? You know that. Which is essential for developing wisdom in Buddhism. Then you know the true nature of all this reality. So when you understand how things truly exist, you also understand how actions lead to consequences, which we call karma. So Buddhism teachings, he founded this sort of nature of reality Buddhism, teaches interdependence, not just as a sort of theory, but as a practical method for reducing all these sufferings and cultivating great wisdom and compassion. So recognizing that everything is interconnected, naturally motivates and inspires us to help each other. Seeing the conditions that create suffering or happiness allows us to change those conditions in our, every, daily life. For example, if you plant a seed with the correct conditions, causes, it will grow. If any sort of necessary condition is missing, the plant cannot grow. That's the reality. In the same way, happiness, suffering, and relationships all arise from multiple causes and conditions. Life, is all this, Life is a chain in which one thing leads to another. For example, first ignorance, right? Not seeing reality clearly. We believe everything is permanent. Second, mental habits and karma that influence our actions, what we do in daily life. And third, result, we experience either happiness or suffering. So therefore, interdependent origination is one of most profound and unique teachings in Buddhism. It leads directly to the understanding emptiness, which is key to liberation, right? We can destroy all this clinging, permanent clinging, self-grasping, me, I, where this, all this beliefs, ignorance. But the question is how to apply this in daily life, right? According to Buddhist teachings, when you feel, for example, you feel stress or anger, it's important to recognize that these emotions do not stay the same forever. They just come and go, right? So seeing their temporary nature reduce your reaction or beliefs. So when something triggers, like frustration, notice that the feeling is temporary and depends on causes and conditions. It's not permanent. This awareness acts like an antidote, because calming the mind and reducing that suffering. Understanding that nothing exists independently or permanently is like a kind of a mental medicine, because helping us see things clearly and then act with wisdom. So in short, everything in life arises due to many causes and conditions. Nothing is permanent. Nothing exists independently. Think about, do you really believe there is a tomorrow? Think about it. Therefore, we can change our lives for the better through understanding nothing exists independently. When we recognize this clearly, we understand the roots of suffering and how our actions affect ourselves and others. This insight helps us to, cultivate wisdom, compassion, freedom from suffering. That's why the best here says, Then, next, the best conduct is to avoid following worldly concerns. In Buddhism, worldly concerns refers to the things that our ordinary mind constantly chases in daily life, and also like fear, So when we follow these worldly concerns, our conduct becomes driven by attachment and, fear. It's because we strongly believe in a permanent ego inside us. Because of that, all of these ideas, such as desire, hope, fear, conflict, anxiety, so on and so, we become influenced by them. And we end up following all these worldly concerns. Even highly experienced practitioners struggle with these 8 worldly concerns. So it's a natural, if we cannot avoid following these worldly concerns yet, the key is, I always say this, gradual training. Even if we cannot fully free ourselves from these worldly concerns, there's still practical and sort of achievable ways to live life with good conduct, right? For example, helping others whenever possible, even through small acts of kindness, and focus on genuine bodhicitta. We can also avoid harming others in our actions, our speech or thoughts, and practice dharma, honesty, and respect. Even if we are not yet free from worldly concerns, these actions train the mind, laying the foundation for higher conduct in the future. So good conduct does not require perfection, Focus on what is possible now. Each small effort becomes a seed for, future freedom from worldly concerns. And over time, this practice gradually reduces attachment and ego, and bring us closer to better conduct. So here, avoid following worldly concern. It does not mean, rejecting life. It means not letting these 8 concerns totally control our mind. As Dharma practitioners, we should act with compassion, wisdom, instead of ego and self-grasping. Keep our intention pure rather than seeking only personal advantage. When we avoid following worldly concerns, our minds become really stable and have less distracted. Our actions become ethical because they are not driven by selfish motivation. Our Dharma practice becomes authentic because it's not mixed with ego. If our practice are mixed with worldly concerns, then we're not a genuine Dharma practitioner. This is how Buddhist practitioners train their mind. If someone praises us, we remain humble instead of become, like proud or arrogant. If someone criticizes us, we try to listen calmly instead of becoming sort of angry. We help others because it's beneficial. It's not because we want recognition. Helping others without expecting anything in return is important, but it can be difficult to let go of expectations. So we practice the Dharma, slowly. We practice Dharma because we want liberation, right? Not because we want others to see or think we are great spiritual, we are great practitioner. That's not our motivation. So now here we are talking about the best and the highest conduct. We may not have the best conduct right now, that's okay. Even if we cannot sort of fully free ourselves from worldly concerns. Small, consistent efforts, such as meditating, reflecting daily, studying Dharma teachings, applying them in simple and small ways, gradually train the mind, over time. So these efforts really, lay a good foundation for the future, for the highest conduct in the future. That's how we should practice Dharma, right? Then it says the best blessing is listening of negative emotions. In Buddhism, an accomplishment is not measured by fame, wealth. True accomplishment is training the mind in Buddhism. Negative emotions disturb the mind and cause suffering. The best achievement in life is reducing or transforming these negative emotions rather than, chasing external success. That's the best blessing. In Buddhism, this is considered the best accomplishment. It's because a mind that is free from negative emotion is like finally removing a very heavy, backpack you have been carrying for years and years, Finally, you are free from that burden, That's why it's the best blessing. It's like, a calm lake that reflects everything clearly without any disturbance. You feel relaxed, right? Or it's like a sunlight garden where, flowers bloom free without any weeds or obstacles. So a mind free from negative emotions is what Buddhists call enlightenment. Negative emotions disturb the mind, create suffering, but we should know that reducing negative emotions is not full enlightenment. But it is progress on the path, right? So that is why Buddhist practice focus strongly on mind training and meditation. So reducing negative emotions is the first step, and then it ultimately leads to complete liberation and wisdom. So therefore, that's why it said the best blessing is lesson of negative emotions. The best sign of accomplishment is reduction of desire. As you know, in Buddhism, desire is one of the main causes of suffering, right? But reducing desire does not mean never enjoying life. People misunderstand this too. It means our happiness is not controlled by desires. A mind less caught up in desire is more peaceful and free. Happiness is one of the most beautiful feelings in life. True happiness comes from love, kindness, and gratitude. When we appreciate small, blessings, we feel very happy, inside. Happiness grows when we share kindness. So a good sign that someone is progressing spiritually is when their mind is less attached, even in daily life. It's a good sign. A mind that is not controlled by desire, but act with contentment, brings more peace and freedom and happiness. Then you can enjoy food, enjoy comfort, and possessions without being controlled by them. Just without completely focus, rely on them. Like your happiness rely on possessions. That's not genuine happiness. We can enjoy everything, but happiness comes from love and appreciation, gratitude, grateful for this life. In Buddhism, even small steps in reducing desire are considered sort of meaningful progress. Therefore, the best sign of spiritual growth is a mind that is less dominated by desire and attachment. Even small, if you reduce like desire, it's small, brings more peace and freedom. Sometimes life is easy, sometimes life is hard. But every experience, if, teaches us something very meaningful. If we are mindful or we know it. Life becomes meaningful when we live with mindfulness and kindness. We cannot avoid all these ups and downs, Sometimes life is good, sometimes not good. That's what it is. But I think we can, if we observe, be mindful, every experience teaches something meaningful. Then I think life becomes meaningful.